How's it going? Oh, I got you muted. Hold on. I'm going to unmute you. Or I think you might have to unmute yourself, Andrew Slater.
I'll unmute myself. God.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Yeah, it's been a long time actually. I was thinking about it. It's probably been, since I've seen you, it's probably been since we recorded your album.
I know.
And then you never released that album. So I take it as a personal
I did
failure.
release that album.
Oh, you did?
I told you what that was, right?
Yeah, you had to like read because I know everyone got screwed on the the what was it, Spotify thing?
You said it. You said it first, and then I've used this to describe it this way for everybody, and it really works. But it's the Taylor. You're Taylor Swifting it, and I had no idea what the context of that was, but that's exactly what it is, and people get it immediately once you say that. Like, you just have to re-record the same stuff to get the rights back so that you can get money for it. So
much like her, you made trillions of dollars off of these re-recordings.
Yeah, I have also. I think I've made more.
Oh, good.
It's not a contest, but yeah. So it all worked out. It actually worked out because it's been going pretty good, and I was. It was the right decision. Put it that way. So.
Well, it's good. Is the decision? I guess the offset is like whatever I got paid, whatever the record label gets paid, like subtracted from the earnings. That's because I didn't make that much money, so you didn't have to make that much money off that album.
Yeah, no, it was more about the fact that they wouldn't play the album that I did when I did it originally. They wouldn't play it on Sirius Radio anymore because of its affiliation with this. It's a long story, but with the Spoken Giants thing, where they were trying to go after more revenue. Right.
Yeah.
And so basically, by re-recording it, I created something new that had no connection to previous groups, and I still use the same record label, who are good guys. It's very small. It was an 800-pound gorilla. It's called Ghost Runner.
It's two comics, right?
They were able, for whatever reason, now it was clean.
Right.
So. Not in the comedy sense, but in the legal sense.
Yeah, very just filthy, dirty comedy, but it's
it was
clean money.
Disgusting, horrible jokes, but clean legally. Actually, ironically, it was clean material too, because that's how you get kind of played more on Sirius Radio.
Yeah, that's the key
to
making money.
So they got it. But because of that, it was able to get back on Sirius, and yeah, it's a pretty good chunk of change every month for comics. You can get it on there. It's good. So
that's good.
Like the one thing in comedy that almost pays better than probably better than fair. Everything else, you're like, I'm getting ripped off all the time. You're like, this is one little part of the corner of the world where you're like, this is good, and then they try and screw it up. So that's what that was. Yeah.
And so that was, a couple of years ago. And before we get too far into it, a couple things. One, I released a special last week, so if you're out there listening to this, please go listen to the special. Watch the special on YouTube. It's called Do Not Shake. And it's doing pretty well. It's got almost 17,000.
I saw that, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And also, really well, considering my plan was, for my own ego, to make sure it didn't flop completely, I was just going to pay for ads for people to see it. I was going to put like $1,000 into ads. Then I tried to do my first ads, and for some reason, YouTube thinks my whole special is an election ad, and so I can't run ads on it. And I'm dude, I don't even talk about the election. I've been trying to get it. I had one dude, pretty obviously from India, email me and just literally copy and paste the policy to me. That's the extent of the human support I've been able to get, and other than that, I can't get anyone to tell me why or fix it. Every time I run it, it just says nope, election ad, can't have it. So yeah, it's up to almost 17,000 views, which is pretty. For me, awesome. If it would have done 10,000 in a month, I would have been thrilled with that. So to be this far in, and then you are going to be, more importantly, immediately anyway, this weekend you were at Tacoma Comedy Club 6th and Proctor location, Friday and Saturday. Which, have you been to that club yet?
No, I haven't. This will be my first time.
You are gonna absolutely love it. It's like 100 seats, small, intimate. It's where I recorded the special, by the way.
Oh, cool.
And,
Oh, great.
and it's like
I was just gonna ask you that.
Yeah, it's so cool, and it's like the I will never not love the first Tacoma Comedy Club or the big club, because it's where I started comedy. But like, it's a huge room, and so when there's 100 people in that room, it feels like there's 0 people in that room. And when there's 100 people in this 6th and Proctor location, it feels like there's no way to fail. Like, it's so fun.
Yeah, sick. I'm excited, especially for July. You definitely want to be in the smaller club.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody's funnier than warm weather. But don't you think that YouTube thing's so interesting? And like, I had the same thing with the podcast episode. I try to upload my podcast, The Cavalry, onto YouTube, you know, and we don't live stream it or anything. It's just like I have the video of it, and so I figure I might as well do something with it. So we put it up there, and one of the episodes they deemed like sexual because the title, and it was like, it's like a joke. But then I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay, I'll just change the title. But they'd already flagged it as like, and I like look, and I'm trying to going back and forth, like pulling it down. I keep telling them, like, and then I have a strike against me. They're like, oh, you have one strike, so you're like scared to push it any further. You're like, oh, all right, you're right, and you realize this is the future. This is where we're gonna be. You're arguing with a computer, and then they're like, but clearly you're wrong, and they're like, hey, if you argue again, we'll just cut you out of society. You're like, oh, okay, all right, I guess you're right, computer. And then that's how the computer learns that it's right.
At the risk of going down like right-wing conspiracy, where you're obviously going, is I mean, to me it's like I don't talk about the election at all. I mention the names of Trump, Biden, and Mike Pence briefly. Like, I make jokes about them, and it's like, well, because of that, an entire, like, it'll see way fewer people. I want to give you money, Google and YouTube. I want to give you money to show my special to people, and you're like, nope, we can't, because this. And they're like, you can get an election ad certificate, and then it'll show it to people who are like, it's like so stupid. And I'm like, I'm not an election advertiser. I'm not even. The only reason I don't want to cut it out is because it's like part of a 17-minute chunk, and it loses the.
Oh yeah, you don't want to cut it.
Yeah, so then I'm like,
it's like, don't you think it's funny too? Because we celebrated as comedians, we celebrated this sort of independence. You're like, hey, we don't need if HBO wants to censor me, or if Comedy Central wants to censor me, screw it. I'm gonna release it on YouTube, and I'll collect all the revenue. But then we sort of like created a worse, because not only is the censor maybe more conservative, it's also unreasonable, and there's no back and forth. It's just like Brainiac, the Superman computer or whatever. It's just like there's no arguing with it, So it's like now we're all kowtowing to just like a thing instead of like suits.
Yeah, and then I was gonna. My plan was always to make it like exclusive to YouTube for about a month, and then put it on other stuff, like put on X. I'm gonna put the whole thing on X. I'm gonna put the whole.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And I kind of think, and I also I've caught myself, because I was like, I'm never gonna stop calling it Twitter, and now I just started. I completely laid down arms on the Twitter versus X thing. It's just X now. I do think that could be the next place where comedy goes, because it's like so uncensored, and like I could probably put it on there and pay to get 1 million views, no problem, and probably not even pay that much, because I think advertising's pretty cheap over there now. But it's like, I don't know. I just wanted to. I like YouTube. It's like I watch YouTube. It's I wanted it to do.
You're doing good without the ads.
I know it is doing well. That's the thing. If you would have told me a week ago, I know if you told me a week ago there'd be 17,000 views, I'd be thrilled. And now it's the hedonic treadmill thing, where it's like it's never good enough. The moment it started doing well, I wanted it to just keep doing better. And it's slowing down too. It had like a couple days where it went real hot, and then it's like like 1,000 views a day right now.
Well, hey, let me tell you something. You don't need to give them money. You're doing good.
That's true. You do have, by the way, I want to talk about first off, kid, I want to clarify something. You live in Portland, but you grew up in Seattle, right?
Exactly correct.
Okay, cool.
I've been in Portland for almost 6 years, but born and raised in Seattle. I went to Western Washington, so Bellingham for college.
Yeah.
And then kind of bounced around after that. But.
Gotcha. So you have, I think nobody that I know has a credit I'm more jealous of than you. And it's not, you've done a lot of stuff in comedy, but the thing you did that I'm the most jealous of is writing for the Norm Macdonald sports show. And first off, I mean, like, I was a big fan of Norm, and then when he died, it was like the algorithm kept feeding me Norm, and I was like, oh man, dude, I could sit and watch him do the same bit on multiple shows and just like enjoy the nuanced differences, or when he does it exactly the same.
Yeah, I kind of have a take that, like, because now we measure comedians so differently, you know, when he was in his prime and alive, you know, he was probably in his prime up to his death, but like when he was in his prime, he was doing I don't know if you remember the podcast he did. Of course, if you're a big fan, you know, the Norms. And then it went on Netflix for, I think, a couple seasons. And like now, there's so much more currency in something like that. Like if that existed now, I think he'd be like the biggest comedy star in the world, maybe. Like, I don't know if in the world, but like, you know, like these guys like Theo and Andrew Santino and Tim Dillon, they're selling out like arenas, you know, like, or theaters at least. Like, I think Norm would be so much, as big as he was, I think he'd be so much bigger now because his clips, just by like, not even like an official Norm Macdonald thing, or like, it'll just be like X44 13 27, like 400,000 views on some Norm clip I've seen a million times, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so I do think like it proved his staying power. Like the internet now is like more democratic towards like what people think is funny, and obviously Norm's like the funniest because like look what his clips do still, you know.
Yeah. I want to confirm. We have a comment on this, and I want to just confirm with Nick Lindsay. You don't hear the music right now. You don't hear the music, do you, Andrew?
I do hear the music. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I was just jamming out. I didn't know if this was like your thing.
What? No. What? I don't hear it at all. Hold on. Did it stop?
It just started over.
Oh my God! This is
I hear
a problem.
Still. It's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
Nick did not want it turned off. He said just down 10%.
What? But it's not even. I don't even show it as on. Here, I'm gonna turn the volume all the way down. Is it gone now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I'll be interested to see if that shows up on the recording. Yeah, my bad. I did not. It does not. It does not show up on my end. So what an asshole move to be just like. Was it just the intro song over and over and over again?
Well, you know how like sometimes NPR podcasts or like fancy things, they start out with like a little backbeat, little music, and then it fades, but it just wasn't fading. You know. I was like, maybe it'll fade eventually.
Yeah, I just had the that is my fault, and I'll be curious to listen to the replay and see what's going on, because I haven't heard it since it ended.
I say it's off. Nick is saying the music.
Well, he could be behind. He has no idea. Nick's crazy. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, there's that Norm clip. I talk to people all. I don't. It never gets what it deserves because I do it bad. But it's Oh wait, hold on. There's other music that's still. Oh my God.
Well, I think he's just calling that Sunday afternoon nap music.
Are you hearing like the song that was on right when you got on?
I was hearing music the whole time, and I hear nothing now.
This is the problem with a live stream, is we're like fighting. Nick, give us an update.
How far behind is Nick is the question.
I don't know that. Yeah, that's a good question.
Let's give it a minute and then see.
We'll let Nick tell us what he's experiencing. Wait, you know what we could do? This might ruin everything. Let's pull up the actual. I can pull up the actual podcast and let's see what we got there. Anyway, so there's the Norm clip that I love the most. My favorite one of those podcast Norm clips. 'Cause the nice thing about it too is you always hear it's like on different sets, because you just did so many versions of that podcast. So there are like so many seasons. So it'll be like a different set every time, and it's he says it's restarted and still on.
I think he is behind. I think he is behind because what happened was when I told you the music was on and you were like, you hit a button and it did restart and like felt like it started from the beginning.
Yeah, hold on. I have it on. I have like. No, it's. This is so crazy. This app is so crazy. I guess I'm gonna. Okay. Nick, give us some feedback. I'm gonna play it on my side too and see. I think we might have. Hold on.
This is weird. What is this doing?
This is great podcast.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know. You can't hear this on my head. This is really bad. What I'm doing right now, because I'm just listening and I should be playing it at least so everyone can hear what I'm experiencing.
It's off now. See, I knew it. He was behind.
Oh, thank God, Nick. Thank you for your quick feedback. I appreciate that. So the Norm clip that I love so much. The Norm clip I love so much is when he's talking to I think it's Nick Swardson, and he's talking about 9/11. And he goes, first off, he goes, now he says it's stuck in a 1 second replay. What the fuck is going on with this music? Okay, I'm going to try to hit stop on it. And this is like infuriating that it does this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weirder now because I can't even hear it.
Yeah. Nick, continue to give us feedback. Hopefully the replay of this, or hopefully the podcast version of this has none of it. It just sounds like we're arguing over nothing. Yeah, so he's talking to Adam Egget and Nick Swardson, and he goes, whatever, like JetBlue won the best airline of the year last year. You know what won worst airline is 9/11 Air. I think it's because of the name. It reminds people of that tragedy, which is just such a like the over-explaining is so funny. And then he goes, I spent 9/11 searching for my brother. I was walking through blood and bones in Manhattan. He was in Northern Ontario. It's like such a funny line. I should have just pulled it up instead of trying to do a rendition of myself, although I'm worried that it will just quit playing forever. Still the 1 second of replaying the music. This is
hilarious.
This is like, so I'm going to try. What I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do.
This is good. This is good. Thank God Nick is here.
I'm literally just deleting the songs from the whole thing and tell me if
this is a good tribute to the half-assed production of the Norm podcasts, because they also would mail in certain things.
All right, I've literally now deleted them off of the fucking. Oh my God. So
where
what was
did the
it
music come from? Like, what was the music like? Did you download music to play at the beginning?
This app that we use for it, you can put music on. I had I have an intro song for the podcast, and then because there's sometimes where I want it to go live so that people have time to get on and run this it's supposed to be hold music, and it was. Nick, let us know. We need your input right now. We almost got to send Nick the link to tell us in real time.
Can I tell you something? Okay, now I don't know if this is related, but in the top of my browser, there's a music note that's popping up in and out, and it's flashing almost. And then he's saying it's 1 second replaying of the music. So I wonder if that's related. There's no way I can click on it.
I hate the software. I hate that I'm making you go through this. Also, this is killing
don't worry
me
about
here.
it. Would it be worth it to just start the whole thing over?
No, we're live
get
already.
Everybody. All right.
We got to get feedback from Nick.
He says it's still happening.
How long ago? He said, "Give me the Sunday afternoon music back instead of the 1 second repeating." All right. Here's the deal: is we can't. I'm gonna play it on my side and see, and we're just gonna watch ourselves.
Okay.
What the fuck is going on with this? Yeah, let's. I guess let's jump out and I'll start it again. That stinks.
Yeah,
I think you can stay. I think you can stay on here.
I'll just stay.
Nick is commanding us to start over, which makes me not want to do it. It makes me want to do the opposite. All right.